You too, Batman. And me, what about me? And you too, Superman. Away with the mother box. Once again, from a secret, hidden, undisclosed location, somewhere down deep in the bowels of historic St. John's, Newfoundland, comes In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Crazy Wallace Ryan. Blah, blah. Anyway, love the sound of this. Whew. So it's a beautiful day here. Actually, it's sunny outside, and it's 15 degrees. That's about 60 for you Americans. It's actually a very nice day. A little bit windy out, you know. Wind gusts, I think, up to 45 or something like that. But anyway, you know, all in all, nice day. And got a few books here. Not a lot this week, actually. Just it's a small week. So I'm gonna sip a lot of tea during this show. No, seriously. Well, got a comic jam tonight, so I'm gonna shoot this, then relax for a while, and then head off to pass on the art of comics onto a whole new generation. Something that myself and Paul Tucker, the artist from Nobody's in Control, we've been doing it for, actually it'll be 10 years this March. So we've been working on purposely growing a comic book community here in St. John's, and I encourage others out there to do it. And well, I've been teaching comics for 20 years too, and Paul being one of my first students, and some others too. Mike Feen, the Eisner Award nominated artist for Snagglepuss Chronicles. I taught him, so and we all got together last year for the Pure Comics Festival of Graphic Literature, and we're gonna do it again this year. So we're building a community, and Downtown Comics here in St. John's has been really good. They let us have a cartoonist night on Wednesday, so myself and one or two of the local cartoonists here will show up, and we'll actually work in the shop, so that when people actually do enjoy, they stop and they look at what you're doing and all that, and it's kind of neat to demystify it a bit for the general public, show them a little bit of how it's done and that, and yeah, it's fun. But yeah, and so we're looking at going 10 more years after this. We'll go forever, actually, until we can go no more. But yeah, and I'm setting up to try to actually visit a lot of local high schools and do a free comic book workshop for them and that. And I'd like to sort of encourage other artists and all that, and writers out there across North America to get involved with your community, because you can really build a solid little comic book community from the ground up just by donating a little bit of your time. I mean, it's only 2 hours every month for us for the jam, but I mean, makes you feel good too. Actually, there was a woman our last jam. She thanked us very much because her son really enjoyed it, and we you know, and that makes it worthwhile, actually, more than anything else. There's no financial reward for it, but just to know that you've helped steer someone down that comic book path always feels good. Gives you a warm feeling. Anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, first off, from Fantagraphics, yet another reprinting of The Complete Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, Volume 2. Now, this one, of course, has a lot of the stuff that I'm assuming was in the Life and Times companion that was out earlier. Yeah, these are all the other stories, but in between stories and stuff like that. But these to me, these are a valuable part of the entire book. I know the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck was only 12 issues long, but I mean, all the related stories and all that, I mean, it's enough to fill another book about the same size as the first one. So and they're kind of neat. I really think they do belong as part of the Life and Times itself. They're neat little stories. Like I say, there are fill-in stories and some additional ones, and of course all done by that master of the modern duck world, Don Rosa. This was the series that first got me really turned on to ducks. I mean, I'd read them when I was a kid, and I was a big fan of Howard the Duck, and like Daffy Duck in the cartoons, and even some of the Donald Duck cartoons. But in terms of the comics, I'd never really gotten into them. But when I seen that this series had won an Eisner Award, it just shocked me for one thing, because they don't give out Eisner Awards to just anyone. And so I figured, hey, why not? I'll read it. And I'm so glad that I did, because it opened a whole new world of comics to me. So sometimes even when you see a comic, a genre or something you may not like or whatever, if people are speaking highly of it, it sort of behooves you to check it out anyway, because it could be something really cool. Okay, now what do we have here? This is an intro from Michael Moorcock. This is volume 6 of The Sixth Gone. Doon 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 doon. By the great Cullen Bunn. Love Cullen stuff. And I know you'll say, oh Wallace, what are you going to mention Harrow County again? Yes, I'm going to mention Harrow County again. But yeah, he's in my mind, he's one of the best in the whole crop of new writers that have come out in the past 10, 15 years. I mean, there's lots of great people out there, don't get me wrong, from Hickman to Fraction and all around, but I know there's just something about Cullen's work, I guess, that just speaks to me. I guess it's, I know this is sort of a Western, a mystical Western type of thing and all that, but I mean, it's still pretty cool. Love the artwork too. Oh, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you could hear that. That's the wind shaking the house here. So yes, it is with you. Anyway, so here we go. The Sixth Gone. Beautiful artwork. Cool stories. I'm still very early on in this, so I try not to look too much at this as I'm flipping it through for your perusal. But great art. Like I say, stories top notch. This is one of my highly recommended series, say, from the 21st century series. This is definitely up there with all the other great ones. But yeah, check it out if you're not a Cullen Bunn fan. Check it out. I think he did, what was it, a Magneto series? That was it, and that was quite fabulous, quite amazing, quite surprising. Anyway, that was the new books from this store. But I completed a mini collection, an omnibus collection this week. I got my volume 2 and volume 3 of Jim Starlin's Dreadstar. Ding 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 ding. Funny enough, I just finished reading volume 1, and I love Dreadstar. I love the well, I was a big Starlin fan, as you've heard many times, from the Captain Marvel days right on up through Adam Warlock, and then into Dreadstar. I read the very first stories that were in Epic magazine, then went on to the comic itself, the Epic comic, and followed it even right up until, I think up until about issue 30 or something like that, and then I sort of petered out. But these contain the entire run. So this series, for instance, goes up as far as 24, and then volume 3 goes up to, I think it's 61, or let's see. Nice books too. Good job, folks. And 40 goes up to 40. So this includes, you know, I think they'd, I don't know if they'd moved to, yeah, they were still at Epic at that point, but later on they moved to First Comics, I do believe it was, yeah, and there was a short series, Malibu, that he did for Malibu, a Dreadstar one, which I've yet to find reprinted anywhere, and I was kind of hoping they'd reprint it in this one, but I guess not. But yeah, I love, here's both of them side by side. Beautiful, isn't it? But yeah, the stories are, to me, well, I mean, I always loved the cosmic stories of Jim Starlin. Up to this point, I guess, yeah, Warlock was probably one of my favorite pieces of his work. I mean, I still like the don't get me wrong, the Captain Marvel issues, but the art generally reached a higher level, I thought, in Warlock, and he continued on with that through Dreadstar. So if you're a fan of him, you should check it out. But I'll give you a quick look, just a quick breeze through them here. There now. Here's a rather cool cover, but nice set. Lots of action, lots of intrigue. And Starlin did most of it. I know he had Luke McDonnell and some other folks later on, but for the most part he stayed in touch with it. I know, I think Peter David had written some of it somewhere, I thought. But anyway, a great series. Oh, let's have a look at the other one. Nice books too. Nice books, but and I mean, I very rarely, or I used to very rarely get involved with any Kickstarter comic stuff like that. But once in a while I will, and this is a case in point. It was a favorite comic book series of mine that had not seen the light of day really since it first came out, and so I figured, yeah, I definitely should pick it up. Oh, what's this here? Designs by, okay, these are some of the, but yeah, Awakening. But if you're, like I say, if you're any kind of fan of Jim Starlin, if you liked his cosmic stuff, Dreadstar continues it right on through to the bitter end. Great series, and it's great to see it preserved for future generations. Definitely one that a series that influenced me as a young artist. So pick it up and let it influence you. Okay, this actually looks like it's going to be a pretty short episode. You know, unless you want me just to sit around here and drink tea and wax eloquent about God only knows what. Yeah, I can't really think of much more. Yeah, geez, it's a nice day out too. I almost feel like making a run outside and enjoying the sun and stuff like that. I don't think there's any other real great comics that have been out recently that I can rave on and on. Oh, I am reading actually the House of X and Powers of X, the individual issues, which there's something to talk about actually now that I think about it, because I was talking about this earlier with a friend of mine, is the Marvel will be releasing the hardcover version of that as an exclusive to only comic book shops. And I know some people don't like that or whatever, but I think it's great because it's really giving back to the people who helped build the entire comic book industry. These days, a lot of times, the small store owner who's struggled for decades and all that is forgotten. And like I say, it's That's kind of unfair because these really were, like I say, these people were there since the start. They were in the trenches, you know, getting interest up in titles and stuff like that, and you know, and the good ones, you know, basically, you know, finding the comics that people would like to read and making sure that they got them too. So, so I actually applaud the direct market only books. I mean, not for everything, but you know, for some of the better books. But you know, also too with the option that you know, I guess if you don't have a comic book store in your hometown, that can be a bit of a drag. Because some people mentioned that when I first brought it up, talking to a few fans and stuff like that. But yeah, if there could be some way that you could avail of these specials. I'm not sure how that would be done, because obviously Diamond doesn't want to involve itself with shipping out comic stuff like that. But I guess the only thing to do then is to get in contact with a small store online and get it through there. But yeah, I like to encourage people to get out and support the little stores as much as possible, because when they're gone, you're going to be really sorry. Because to me, comic book store is more than just a place to buy comics. A comic book store is it's like a little piece of magic brought down here where we can hang out and talk about all the comics we like and stuff like that, and what comics used to be like in the old days and in the new days, and yada yada yada. But yeah, the really good comic book stores really do foster a real sense of community. Like my favorite store here, Downtown Comics. I mean, you go in, you're talking there. The owner, I mean, he knows most people by their first names, and you know, we've made actually a lot of friends through the comic book store. So I've gotten to know a lot of his customers and all that, and I love it because I can talk to them, and you know, sometimes I'll look at what someone's buying and ask them, you know, oh, why are you buying that comic? What's so good about that? And it's great because a lot of times you get a lot of good recommendations from other people besides yourself. Anyway, I guess that's enough of a meander there. I'd like to actually thank people too for everyone who passed on their condolences and thoughts and wishes and prayers over the loss of my brother Jeff. It's very, very appreciated. It's in times like these that it's great to have friends to get you through these rough patches and all that. And like the customers in the comic book store, I consider all you people who watch my video and all that, I consider you all friends. That's why I love answering the comments and checking in, seeing how everyone's doing and all that, because that's what I originally wanted to do. I wanted to create a little online community where I could help spreading the love of comics. And every single one of you help out. Thank you, folks. Anyway, I forgot. This is definitely a 5-kiss series. Anyway, I love all of you to death out there. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Oh my God, look at the size of that boom tube. Bye.